Hey guys, Jonathan here for JM Sports 100, the JM Sports Show. How is it going? I'm here to make NFL picks for Week 11 in the NFL. We are 1-0 on the week, straight up 0-1 against the spread. What a surprise. We continue to struggle against the spread. We had the spread covered for most of the game. Tennessee scored late. We did take the Colts to win, which they did, 30-27, but we took the Colts minus 3.5. That did not quite happen. Obviously, we fell point short there. And like I said, Indy had the spread up until late. Tennessee was able to get a score. So the record for against the spread is not pretty. At all, as you're going to see in a second. We're 84-64 on the year straight up, so that's not too bad. We'll take that. 558, 341, and 1 lifetime. Against the spread, though, this year, we are a miserable 59-95. I can't even believe I'm saying that. 36 games below 500. I don't even know what to say to that, really. 150 and 164 lifetime. That one's not quite as bad because we usually do good against the spread this year, but spread has been tough indeed. My goal this year is to get at least close to 500 before the year's out. With, of course, the better part of still uh, 6 weeks to go. Last week, straight up, we did go 8-6. Went 500 against the spread last week, 7-7. So, not terrible against the spread. We're getting there. If we can at least keep it around, 500 every week, I would at least be content with that, even if it doesn't do a ton for the record. All right, let's take a look at the picks. Atlanta and Tampa Bay, plus 1.5 for Tampa Bay here. Atlanta is they're 2-7. Atlanta is eventually going to win football games again. Tampa Bay is not a very good team. There's a lot of people that called them, including me, that called for them to beat Miami last week because Miami has distractions. Okay, one thing I'm very interested to see is how can Tampa Bay follow that up. The old adage in football is not really how do you handle failure, but how do you handle success. Tampa Bay has only won one game this year. How will they handle success? We'll see. I don't think they'll handle it really well. Like I said, Atlanta is eventually going to win a football game again. I am going to go with Atlanta to win the game and -2. The Jets and the Bills here. Bills are 2-point favorites at home. I'm interested. I'm interested in this game as well. The Jets are right there on the brink of a wild card spot, or at least being in position for one, which is amazing. I don't think anybody, including me, saw that happening. Buffalo is a mess. Okay, Buffalo is just a complete disaster right now of a football team. But a lot of Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. How will the Jets handle success? Yes, the Jets have won more games this year, but the Jets beat the Saints. They're coming off a bye, but they beat the Saints at home in their last game. Big deal right there. How can the Jets bounce back? Can they bounce back? I think they do, giving them to win straight out. Outright, I guess. Baltimore and Chicago. Chicago is a field goal favorite in this game. Obviously, Baltimore is not the same team that won the Super Bowl last year. Chicago is not fantastic either, and no Jay Cutler. Now, the Bears obviously have shown that they can play well without Cutler, um, and they've done that obviously. I This game is a tough game to pick because it's in Chicago and it's a field goal game. I am going to give the Bears the benefit of the doubt as far as obviously just for the home field advantage standpoint. I'd rather the Bears winning and covering the 3-point spread. Cleveland and Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a touchdown favorite at home here. And this is going to be a very interesting game. Cleveland is no joke of a football team. They're 4-5. Cincinnati is 6-4, coming off of a loss in overtime with a game that shouldn't have even gone to overtime. Let's be completely honest about that. Cincinnati should not have gone to overtime last week, but Cleveland, for whatever reason, Cleveland is a thorn in Cincinnati's side. And they've always been a thorn in Cincinnati's side. And because of that, I am going to go with Cincinnati to win the game but I do not think they will cover. I think the game is tighter than that. Usually when the Browns-Bengals play, it's usually somewhere on a field goal game or so, usually pretty tight. So I'm going to go with the Bengals, but tight, so not going with them to cover the spread. Detroit and Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is 2.5, plus 2.5 at home here. Pittsburgh is obviously a mess. Okay, I think it's blatantly obvious they're a mess. Detroit's the better team here. A lot of controversy, with Roethlisberger this week as far as the trade talks that kind of got started up, and will he be traded? And supposedly Pittsburgh's not happy with his work ethic. When he goes home, he doesn't go home and study film, stuff like that. I don't know if that's going to be a big distraction either way, whether it is or it isn't. Detroit's just a better team here. I'm going to go with the Lions to win the game and cover the 3-point spread. Oakland and Houston. Houston's a touchdown favorite at home. There are several teams in this league this year that I hate picking games for, or that I hate picking games with, and the Houston Texans are one of them. They have lost 7 straight now. What can you say? But Oakland is also a mess too. I do think Gary Kubiak being back is going to fire up the Texans a little bit. I am a little iffy to do it, but just because Oakland's a mess too, Houston's not going to lose forever. I still think Houston's in trouble. I think Gary Kubiak bought himself some time with that team due to the health problems that he had, but I do still believe that Houston's obviously in trouble, being 2-7, definitely not a playoff team. I am going to go with Houston and going with them to cover the touchdown spread, but a little bit nervous there. Washington and Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a 3.5-point favorite at home. It scares me to make this pick because it's more than a field goal. With the Eagles, anything more than a field goal scares me. Philadelphia does not play well at home. They do not play well against the spread at home. They're not good at covering, and they're not really good at winning outright at home either. Okay, let's be honest. They've won 2 straight games. Okay, they've beaten Terrell Pryor and the Raiders, and they beat Aaron Rodgers' those Packers. Okay, they beat they like I said they beat a Packers team with Seneca Wallace and Scott Tolzien. All right. Um, I still think Philadelphia is an okay team. I don't think they're great. I do think, believe it or not, I'm going to say this, I think Nick Foles fits the Eagles offense better than Michael Vick does. I was kind of wrong about that. Foles can move a little better than I thought he could. I am going to go with the Eagles to win and cover. The Redskins are just, they can move the ball, so it's going to be a high-scoring game, I think, but I think Philadelphia does cover the spread. Arizona and Jacksonville plus 6.5. Listen, Arizona is 5-4. They're not fantastic. Okay, Carson Palmer is throwing interceptions in every game, but it's Jacksonville. Okay, Jacksonville is coming off the win, and a lot like Tampa Bay, how can they handle it? And I don't think Jacksonville's going to handle the success very well. It's a touchdown. Arizona, I like the Arizona team. I'm not in love with them, but I like them. I am going to go with the Cardinals. San Diego Chargers, Miami Dolphins. Dolphins plus 1.5. The Dolphins are just a disaster, guys. Both these teams come in at 4-5. The Dolphins started 3-0, so that just shows you what they've become. And this Jonathan Martin, Richie Incognito thing has made it worse, and it's not going to die anytime soon. San Diego is the better team here. I'm going with San Diego to win, and quite frankly, I don't even think it is close. Green Bay and the New York Giants. Touchdown favorites. Believe it or not, the Giants, who were 0-6 at one point in time, with a little bit of help and a win today, can be right back in to the thick of the NFC East race. Shows what kind of division it is. Scott Tolzien. I can sit here all day long, being from Wisconsin and having a special place in my heart for the Packers. I can sit here all day long, make excuses. I'm not going to. I do think Tolzien will play well. Tolzien had no practice with the Packers coming in to last week's game against the Eagles and didn't play bad, knowing that. He's had a full week of practice. Matt Flynn is there now too. Plus, Tolzien's obviously got Aaron Rodgers still there helping him out. I think the game is close. I do think the Giants' offense with Eli Manning, obviously, if I had to pick between Tolzien and Manning for a quarterback, obviously I'm going to take Manning all day long in that situation. I do think the Giants win the game. I think it is tighter than the touchdown spread that the Giants are favored by, so I'm going to go with the Giants to win, but not to cover. Minnesota and Seattle. Seattle's a 2-touchdown favorite at home. What do you want to say about this game? I mean, really, what is there to say? Seattle plays very well at home, with the exception of the Tampa Bay game. Minnesota is a mess. Not that Tampa Bay wasn't. I think Seattle wins this game pretty easily. San Francisco and New Orleans, very interesting game here. And the logic for what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, is just simple. Um, what more do you want to say? And that is the Saints don't lose at home. They're coming off of an embarrassing win, or an embarrassing loss rather, to the Jets, which nobody really saw coming. Uh, at the same time, San Francisco got beat at home by Carolina last week. Tough physical football game against a good Carolina team. I do think the Saints win. I think it's a lot tighter. Looking at the percentages for Pigskin Pick'em, there seems to be a lot of people that think that the Saints are gonna blow out the 49ers. I don't think that's the case at all. I think Saints win. I think they cover the spread, but I think they win by not much more than what they cover by, and that'll be 4. Kansas City and Denver. Denver is 8.5 point favorites. And to be completely honest, if you think that Denver is going to blow out Kansas City, you are wrong. Yes, Kansas City is 9-0. Denver is 8-1. Quite frankly, neither one of these teams have really played anybody, with the exception of the Cowboys, which isn't really a great measure of anything. However, uh, Denver, I think, has obviously the better offense, but Kansas City's defense does not give up a lot of points. Kansas City has a secondary that can play. Okay, with Denver, they've got guys that can cover Welker. They've got guys that can cover Thomas and all of Denver's receivers. This is going to be a really good football game. Very interested to watch it. I do think Denver wins, but a heck of a lot closer than the 9 point spread. Give me Denver to win, but not to cover. And the Monday night game on New England, Carolina. Carolina is favored by a field goal in this game. I think what Pigskin shows, the overwhelming perception is that New England wins this game. Normally, I don't really like to go with overwhelming perception because that usually does not turn out well. But I'm gonna hear New England is coming off of a bye. Bill Belichick's pretty good at that coming off a bye thing. New England's playing on Monday night. They're pretty good. Bill Belichick pretty good at that Monday night thing. And Carolina's coming off of a tough physical game against San Francisco, possibly the biggest win, well, definitely the biggest win of the year, if not in the franchise history for Carolina. I do think New England wins 31-24. Hopefully this works because I saw that the cam became unconnected, so I hope everything works okay and I don't have to record it again. I am John Lemons up for Jam Sports 100 and the JM Sports Show. I will see you guys later. Don't forget to like the JM Sports Show page on Facebook, link in the description.